Hey Girl Hey, this is Victoria Parker, owner of Hey Girl Hey Health and Fitness, and we are here for Girl Talk episode 3. I have 3 whole episodes now, and we are talking about our Mind, Body, Soul virtual summit that is kicking off next week, May 12th through the 14th, and I have a very, very, very special guest here with you today. She is my matron of honor. She is my best friend. She is my, the sane part when I need to be sane and when I need to be rational. She brings that to me. And she is just an amazing mom and wife, and I just love her. So it is my honor, and I'm going to shut up before I get emotional at the beginning of the daggone call and introduce you to my friend, Mrs. Ebony Igeleke.
Hey, you almost got me here. I was like, okay, I don't know if they're looking at me yet, but let me go blow my nose. Let me get started. Thank you.
Hey, girl, hey!
I'm so excited.
Welcome to Girl Talk, and you're going to be my presenter, one of my many presenters. Now the list keeps growing. Yes. For the Mind, Body, Soul Virtual Summit. So before we get into it, let me have you tell the folks a little bit about yourself.
Well, in addition to all the things that Vicky said as far as our relationship, she forgot to say that I could be the turn-up ratchet side when she needs that too.
Yes, Shantae comes out every now and then.
Listen, okay? But I am originally from New York. I guess professionally, I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. I graduated with my Bachelor of Science degree from UNLV in 2010. I own and operate a private practice out of Henderson, Nevada. I've been doing that since, I think I went into private practice in 2017, but I've been practicing as a therapist since 2012. I am a wife. We will be celebrating 12 years of marriage by the grace of God on the 17th of this month. We have 3 beautiful and amazing children. Monty will be 10 this year. Cannot even believe or handle that. Moving right along before the real tears come. Right. And Emery is 6. And I have a son, Zane, who just turned 2 in February. So it's a circus show at any given time. I guess the disclaimer is you may hear some banging on my door. It's locked. So they won't actually make it in, but we may still hear them. So we'll see how that goes.
And that's all right. That's the fun of being live. Oh, you got, okay. So we are sharing some tea today. So do you have coffee? I already have my coffee. So I'm on to my chamomile, my lavender chamomile tea. So is there a story behind why you chose the mug you chose, or?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, share.
Yes, these are my Williams-Sonoma double-walled glass mugs that I just got for Christmas. I feel so official.
Yes, you look official.
I feel so fancy.
Yes, you are fancy.
From this mug. I do have a sad story, though. I started the quarantine with 4. I'm currently down to 2.
Kids. Was it the kids?
I don't know. They broke in the sink. The inner wall broke because there were utensils stacked in them.
Oh, well, yeah. That sounds like a husband thing.
Right?
That sounds like a husband thing. Well, my mug is, wait, let me turn around. My mom got me this for Mother's Day, I think, one year, or yeah, I think, excuse my lipstick stains, but it's from today, it's not old. So my mom got me this on Shutterfly. You know, we love Shutterfly in my family. Yes. So that's my mug, and I decided to use that. So yeah, so we got all the tea. Oh, and we're blinging with our earrings. So I have my earrings courtesy of Misha's Alluring Jewels. She is one of my sponsors for the Mind, Body, Soul Virtual Summit. So shout out to Misha with Misha's.
They're gorgeous.
We gotta get you some Alluring Jewels.
Yes. Mine are from Charming Charlie, but I watched one of your other episodes and just your fun messages that you send out while I was drinking my coffee from my Williams-Sonoma double-walled glass mug. Yes. And I saw how cute your earrings were. So I said, well, I want to have my cute earrings on, courtesy of Charming Charlie.
It's like vintage because they're out of business. So it's an antique now.
It's a throwback.
It's a throwback.
Yes. So we are just rocking this call with our cute earrings and our mugs. I love it.
Okay, so let's get down to business.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you said you're a marriage and family therapist, meaning
Yes, ma'am.
you therapy people. Whatever.
Go with that. Yeah. That's how we're going to start the call. You're going to know a little difference by the end of that.
Okay, so you therapy people. That's what we're going to start with. This is my pre-test. So that I can pass my post-test. Explain to us, what is therapy? What is it? And what is it not?
I kind of rather start with what it is not, because
Okay.
I feel like people have a lot of misconceptions about what it is. And so what it is not, well, let me take that back. I'll tell you what it is and then tell you kind of what it is not. It really is an opportunity to chat with a credentialed, certified, licensed, trained person. And I say that for a reason I will get to a little later, about life's challenges. And I say life's challenges intentionally to be big and broad, because there's lots of reasons why people come to be therapied. And so, lots of things, especially, relevant to current times with quarantine and COVID-19 and all of this stuff, anxiety, depression, trauma, relationship issues, which those things could be manifesting within the relationship and it's creating some relational difficulties. So therapy is the opportunity to not just share your experience with someone who is licensed, credentialed, and trained in some sort of form of therapy, but then it's also an opportunity to learn for yourself ways to manage those things. And so this kind of brings me, if I can, just kind of not tangent, but redirect to what therapy is not. It's not a conversation with your girlfriend, right? It's not a unless your girlfriend happens to be a therapist. But but in general, I'll hear people say, well, why go to therapy? I can just talk to my girls. Isn't that the same thing? Or why go to therapy? I can just, all they're going to tell me to do is deep breathe and exercise and meditate. And while those are things that may come up, throughout the course of my sessions, it is not simply a conversation where you're venting. Those things are beneficial because, girl, that I feel better when we chat, right? Because sometimes talking is therapeutic, but it's not therapy.
Here's your niece.
Hey, Gabriel.
Hi.
Hi, Auntie Ebony.
Hey.
Hi, Auntie Emily.
Okay,
Hi, baby.
we're gonna go now. Mama's recording, okay? I need you to go out and I'll see you in a few minutes, okay?
Okay.
Go tell Daddy to get you whatever you want. Give you something good. Go tell Mommy, say, give me something good.
Oh, Lord. That's
like good. But she said good.
That sounds like punishment for later, girl.
Okay, sorry. Please excuse the interruption.
Daddy gave me glitter, because you said give me something good, and now there's
right.
glitter everywhere.
I apologize. You can continue.
No, please. But no, I think I kind of got to my stopping point anyway, that therapy is not, it's not a conversation like with a friend. That even though that has a place in our life and we need it, but I think what that offers is connection, not therapy.
Mm.
And they're different, mutually exclusive things.
Right. I can see that. Okay. So with that said, along the same lines, can you bust one myth for us about therapy? What's one thing that you hear people say all the time that you're like, nah, that's not quite what it is?
It is not. I hear lots, so I really struggle with
right.
that one.
Well, you can share more of the sum, and I'm just not trying to spill all the tea today.
Right. Or coffee. But I think I'll tell the one that probably bothers me the most.
Okay.
Is that I get that therapy is an opportunity for a client to get my opinion.
Okay.
Because I don't actually give my or any opinion in therapy, nor do I believe that any good therapist leads with an opinion. I'm asked for my opinion at times, and I'm very hesitant against giving an opinion for lots of reasons. However, that's not what therapy is. You know, it's not a coaching session, which coaching sessions are great, right? But it's not therapy. You know, this is not a consultant. I'm not your consultant, you know, whereas if I hire a business consultant to assist me with things I have, you know, going on professionally, I'm hiring them to give me their professional opinion.
Right.
I am not hired, nor do I see my role as one to give you an opinion. And I think that comes from just what I believe is the foundation of what therapy is. I don't see my clients as people who are broken and, you know, devoid of or lacking of what they need. I believe they have it already. I believe they know themselves and what they need, and what's true and what's right and what's not better than I will ever know, right? So I feel like my role is to help you tap into that. So what the heck is my opinion, right? Like that, there's no room for that in that relationship right now. I've got tons of opinions, right?
Yes.
You know, come on. I don't not give it because I don't have it, right? Like, and it's hard. I have a client say, what do you think? Oh, right? I do have opinions, but I'm not going to share it, right? And that's just not what therapy is. So I think that's the biggest myth of therapy, that it's someone to give you their professional advice and opinion on how you should handle your life or solve what you perceive as your problem. I'll say this too, in a couples setting, this one is fun. I'm not a referee. I don't wear a whistle around my neck.
Oh, the whistle.
Not at all. I'll wear a whistle in other contexts, right, at a party, at a step show.
Right.
Right. Oops. Sorry, professional. But I'm not a referee. I'm not an attorney, so I'm not a mediator. You know, I feel like couples, you know, come to session to present their case, and have me mediate. That's not what couples therapy is either, you know. So did I answer that question?
I think you did. And actually, I learned something because I think that's what a lot of people think, including myself. Like, you know, you go and you get some advice from somebody who's trained, you know, whereas that's not what you're there to do. You're not there to give advice. You're there to help lead you, to guide you to the answers that you already have within yourself. Did I say that right? Did I repeat that back correctly?
You did. And in your summation, it made me think of like a metaphor for it. I do a lot of metaphors, and I almost think in images or just pictures, but I see therapy not as the destination, it's the journey there, right? Like therapy is what goes on in the process to getting there, right? So I'm not the destination. I'm not, you know, I don't have the answers to what the destination is. I'm just going to ask questions so that you can reflect and tap into what you need to tap into to get to your answer. I'm going to identify, you know, from someone looking in, if I think that there are things that are getting in the way of you solving your own problem. So a lot of us, you know, struggle with depression or anxiety, or, you know, even if not in just the clinical sense, right, but just the more superficial day-to-day type stuff. So I would help identify, how is your possible anxiety influencing the way you're thinking about this, And if anxiety wasn't a part of the thought process, what would you do differently, right? In one of your Hey Girl, Hey posts, I can't remember if it was a post or one of the emails that you send out. I can't remember because I consume all the things Hey Girl, Hey. So you asked the question, you posed the question of, if failure wasn't an option, what would you do, right? And so that's a very like therapy-like question for me, because I'm not telling you what to do. Hey, I think you'd be great at this. That's advice, right? I'm saying it looks like fear is an obstacle for you getting to what you would do otherwise. Right. So let's imagine a life without fear, anxiety, depression, whatever it may be that brings you to therapy. What does it look like? What do we have to do to get that out of the way, right? And so that's not the answer, right? That's not, I think you should, or what I think your problem is. It's way more self-reflective. Right. In that regard, I think that speaks to selfishly why I enjoy doing therapy, because it is so insanely it's so insanely rewarding to see people at their most vulnerable, which is when I think they're the most beautiful. When the snot's running down their nose, I just think,
all right, Brene.
Listen, she's my best friend. She don't know.
Mine too. We girl, I think we need to hit up Napa together. Girls Weekend with Brene Brown.
Brene Brown.
Holla at us, Brene.
Right. You got two besties right here. You don't even know.
You don't even know yet.
But I really think that that's a beautiful time. I love witnessing the moments where it starts to all come together for people when they remember something spontaneously, that it's not that they didn't know, they already knew it, but they're seeing it in a different way. And it's just that like click, switch, or missing piece that they needed to really just move past something. That does something to me personally. It's inspiring for me to continue upon my own journey in life through my own struggles and obstacles with, that I wear and we all wear. And it helps me to focus not on people's struggle. Okay, so I'm going off on a tangent, but here's the story. So I'm a bit of an empath where I feel people's energy, right? And it just gets very overwhelming, because an earlier Ebony would take that on, feel it, and then try to solve it and fix it, and just, and it would just weigh my soul down. And it's so exhausting. I could cry thinking about it, because I would feel it so deeply. And then if I'm in a room with people who I do really care about and love, it's even more magnified. So the empath in me sometimes gets lost in the perspective of seeing and sharing people's hurts, right? And so sometimes I would find myself feeling really overwhelmed by all the pain in our world. And people, I know that might sound so weird, but it really is something that I would struggle with. And maybe someone who's listening or watching now can relate to that, to where we can just get so with the news, with social media, with the live footage of videos that we're seeing, and we could just become so aware of all the hurt out there that we get stuck in that. And therapy, and offering therapy and doing my own, helps me to focus on our resilience, right? Our ability to overcome the hurts and the pains. And that is what I'm like, what? We all experience hurt, and that's okay. And we all experience pain, and that's okay. But we are all so resilient to overcome it that we don't have to stay there. And thank God for that. I truly thank God that, he's given us, the ability to feel to the capacity that most of us can feel and connect, but then goodness, the strength and discernment to overcome. Right. So that's why I do, I therapy people, and then do my own therapy as well.
Right. So I want to touch on that real quick, but something you said made me think of something that I heard recently was, experiencing grief and pain with people. Jesus cried when Lazarus died. Jesus cried, right? And he felt that pain, and he had what he needed to heal him, and he knew that he was going to. But in that moment, he experienced that grief and that pain with him. So that's just another testament that there's so much power in vulnerability and in pain, and experiencing that moment of grief and pain and being real in that time. And then, like you said, being able to come out of it and find the joy. So that came in my mind, and that spoke to me, and I just wanted to share that as well. But you said in your own therapy, and I don't know where I heard it, but somebody told me, and I heard somewhere, like, never get a therapist that doesn't have a therapist. And
me, that's me.
Why does that matter? Why is that important? I mean, it seems obvious, but please share it.
On so many levels, but it's just modeling, right? It's walking the walk. It's saying, and I'll say this too, I don't ever recommend a book. I don't ever nothing I do in my own sessions with my clients aren't things that I truly believe in and or have tried myself. Right? So many techniques, I don't just do that, right? So I'm not only, right, I'm a client of my own stuff.
Right.
And I think that's what, a therapist going to therapy does. It means that you can trust that therapist is being taken care of, by someone.
Right.
That they are practicing what they preach, that they're walking the walk, and that they're talking the talk, and I'm not going to say I'm always consistently engaged in therapy the same all the time, but if there's a time when I feel I need it, I'm there, right? And then I'm like, so that's the other thing, is the myth that people believe is that once I start going, I got to go forever. That's not what it is. You get to decide, I'm going through this tough period in my life and I need some additional support and counsel at this time. And, I'm going to get over this hump. And then once I learn some things and tap into some things and reflect on some things, I may not feel I need it, but it's almost like having your own personal therapist on retainer, knowing that when I need it, I can, set up a session and get what I need to fill my cup.
That's good. That's good. All right, I'm going to switch gears a little bit. It's still along the same lines, but just a little bit. So I'm currently listening to an audiobook that I literally waited for since January, and I'm so busy that I really don't have time to consume it. But I've been waiting for this audiobook since January, and the reason why is because I put myself on restriction from purchasing books for a while. Yeah. So I get them only through the library. And so this book is very popular. So I was number 29 on the wait list. So I haven't done, I have to listen to it, or else I'm going to be forced to get Audible or something, whatever. Anyhow. So Girl, Stop Apologizing by Rachel Hollis. Have you read it?
I have not, but it's on the long list of books.
Okay. Have you read Girl, Wash Your Face?
That's a book that I was introduced to first, and then I learned of the Stop Apologizing, which just took me out again, right? To stop apologizing.
Right. So Wash Your Face was the catalyst for me realizing what was going on with me. When I was in my rut, before I started making some changes in my life, both with my health and my marriage and my kids and my life in general, that was a book that kind of got the ball rolling on that. So after that, I was when I saw Girl, Stop Apologizing, I'm I have to, because Rachel Hollis is officially up there with Brene Brown, my other homegirl. So we just all need to go to Napa. Come on, Rachel.
Come on, girl.
But Everything is Figureoutable is another good one I just finished too, by Marie Forleo. But anyhow, so I am literally, as we speak, on the chapter where she says it's about different behaviors that you need to adopt in order to get to that point of stop apologizing. And one of them is ask for help. And I know that women, and I will go so far as to say especially Black women, have the hardest time asking for help. And I know you and I have had discussions about that especially when our kids were younger and we were new moms and fairly new wives, and it came time to ask for help. And it was like, you couldn't. And I will be honest, and this is, I've never even told you this before, but I think this will help get some perspective in the conversation, because I've always seen, the women in my family, my family, just very strong, and we have a very matriarchal family, right?
Yeah.
And so, and they take care of everything. But then in addition to that, like, you became a wife and a mom before I did. And I remember thinking to myself after I had Braylon, like, well, Ebony was so in control, and Ebony did this, and Ebony threw my my bridal shower pregnant, 7 months pregnant. She was my matron of honor. So all these things, and this is nothing that I've never even told you until now, I don't think. But you've definitely set a bar for me and a standard for me. But then later on in life, as we went through, and we've had conversations where you were like, girl, I was barely hanging on. And I just think that it's so important for us to have these conversations. I hope that's okay for me to say.
Please, yeah.
But I feel like it's so important for us to have these conversations, for one, because it's Mental Health Awareness Month. I just learned that from Tasha, our conversation the other day. And so many times we put up this facade, or put forth this image of being in control and being this strong woman, when we are like, if the wind blows right, we're going to fall over and crumble. And so I want you to share a little bit more about that topic. And you can relate it to, seeking therapy or not, just personally, whatever you want to do with that.
Yeah. So many tangents I can go off to. And it's, my own imposter syndrome stuff gets ignited and activated when I hear people say that I am anything, when it comes to an example or the bar, or because I feel like at any given moment, outside of the scope of this camera are piles of laundry, our kids screaming, is a husband being all the things that we know a husband to be, right? Like all the things, right? And so I'm like, who am I to be any example of anything other than imperfect, right? Because that's all I have to be and to offer is the validation of imperfection, because I live it and walk it every day. So I'm getting better, or trying to get better, to say thank you for the compliment.
Say thank you. That's so true.
I'm not there yet. I'll talk to my therapist later. I can't lie on this chat. So the truest thing.
Speak it as though it is so.
Right. Thank you for seeing that in me. Right. Okay. Thank you. I'll work on it though. Okay. Because I think the flip side of what you were seeing from your perspective in those times was there were also times during that same season where you saw me at my worst, right? Where after my oldest was born, you may not have recognized it because you may not have seen the full picture of it, but it was me at my worst, and it does bring up an emotional type of PTSD for me to think back to those times when my own anxiety was out of control. It was spiraling to depths that I had never even thought imaginable, where I was even becoming a little OCD with the way I did things and time and counting. And it was just, and we just talked about that in Big Bear. And so, to hear you say that I was the bar, I'm like, woo, that's, maybe I should have been more transparent, because I hope I didn't contribute to any fake facade of what it should. I hate that word. I always say we're shoulding all over the place, right? And I, so I don't want it to contribute to anyone else's Pinterest image or Facebook snapshot image, because that just ain't what's happening over here, right? Like, I'm not a therapist who has it all together, and coming from that role of expert, that's also a term I'm just not comfortable with. What are my areas of expertise? At this point, brushing my teeth.
Got that.
Right? that's probably about all I feel an expert in right now, under these circumstances, because everything is just touch and go. But, it's just hard. And I think a true therapist knows how to sit with people in their periods of pain because they are in touch with their own, right? Like they're comfortable. I can hold space for you in your time of hurt because I'm in touch with my own, right? I'm comfortable enough to sit and let you cry and maybe even shed a tear with you because I'm comfortable enough with my own tears. I don't feel like I need to like fix this and, oh, it's gonna be okay. Nope, wipe your face. And, there's a time for that, but we first got to get it out,
Right.
and someone who's in touch with their own emotions can be better at facilitating that process for someone else.
Well, I have something that you are an expert at, other than brushing your teeth.
Because I've gotten pretty good at that.
You are good at that, but I have something else. You want to hear it?
I don't know. It'll make me cry.
And then we're going to close out on it.
Okay.
So you are an expert friend.
Oh.
And I say that because, and I hope I can get through this, but there was a time when I was laying in the hospital after I'd given birth to Jaden, and my kidneys had shut down, and I had gotten a blood clot in my lung, and I was in pain, and I honestly didn't know if I was gonna make it through it. But you came to the hospital multiple times with your lavender oil in hand, and my ankles, no joke, were about this big. And you massaged my legs and massaged my feet. And to this day, that means, excuse me, y'all, that means the world to me. And I don't know if I ever communicated enough about how special that was to me. Like, you were it was a lot of people in my corner, but I know that you were you worked all day, you had the kids, and you would still, I think that was at the beginning of your business. You were just starting your business, your practice, and you took the time to just love on me and care for me. And so for that, in front of the whole world in tears, I just want to say thank you, and I appreciate you. Thank you for always being in my corner, for always saying yes, even despite what was going on in your life. You were always wanting to say yes, I got you, and I appreciate that, and I pray that I can be at least half of the friend to you that you have been to me.
Oh, you have, but check that box off. You have. You absolutely have. If nothing else, where I fall short and my follow through, those masks are on their way. I was looking back through our text messages and I was like, I'm no good. I ain't nothing. But, where I lack follow through and everything, I have a lot of love for you that, and I remember too, I don't know if you remember, and I hope it's okay with sharing, but do you remember when you came to Amani's birthday party?
Which one?
Oh, well, that's true. There's almost 10 to reference.
Right.
The one at the condo, and you were the Elsa one, or was that?
Oh, yeah, and Jaden was a baby.
Yes, you had just had her.
He was like a month old, yeah.
And you were struggling with your weight at that point. And do you remember you came to the door and all I could do was cry? And and then I think soon after that, we were at church, and I can't remember what we were at church for. And I just came over and I was crying and I hugged you and I just said a prayer for you.
Oh, we were there for Christian's christening. I mean, Landon's christening.
I feel like I'm always crying.
Girl.
All these memories include me crying.
This is girl talk.
But, I just, in my spirit, I pray for you. I carry you, whether or not that translates to a text message like it should, or a phone call, even better. or giving you what, you will so kindly remind me, hey girl, send me this. And I'm like, oh, forgot again, but I carry you in my spirit in a way that not too many people in our life get to occupy by choice. And it's a special place that's just reserved for those truly special people. And have forever that place in my heart and my spirit, and your beautiful family. So I do love you, and I'm so excited for what I know you are working through and bringing Hey Girl Hey to the levels that it's going. And you are going to get to where you want to get to with this, and you're going to be able to say that it's because of your dedication and your hard work, blood, sweat, and tears that you got there, and you deserve every ounce of what Hey Girl Hey has in store for all of us who get the privilege of witnessing. So whatever small test piece part that I can be a part of, I'm saddled up and ready to go.
Yay. Well, thank you. That is so true. See what I did there?
Whatever. Rub it in.
We have gone way over our scheduled time just because I knew this was going to happen, though. I knew that we couldn't just get on here and just chit chat, right? We had to go all in for Girl Talk. But I just want to sign out with saying, please register today, this weekend, for the virtual summit. It's going to be amazing. There's going to be conversations like this. There's going to be an opportunity to connect with other women, other speakers. My brother, Ebony's husband, will be a presenter as well. We got some guys in there. So actually two. We got a Chef Ron, and then Josh will be presenting. So nice. It's Hey Girl Hey with some guys. So with a sprinkle. Did you say sprinkle too?
I did, a little sprinkle.
Girl, we both
sprinkle. Listen.
So May 12th to the 14th at Hey Girl Fitness is my handle on Instagram. Do you want to share yours?
I don't have one.
Oh.
Soul Matters. Okay. Soul Matters on Facebook.
Soul Matters on Facebook. So SOUL Matters, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Hey Girl Fitness, Soul Matters on Facebook. Hit us up, register, share with your friends. We want to make this thing, it's already going to be a success, but you just don't want to miss out on it. So with that, we're going to sign out. Bye, girl, bye.
Bye, girl, bye.
I love you.
Love you, girl.
I'm going to stop the recording now.
Okay.